The first day at the Brooklyn Museum, and
hold on.
Photo shoot, we probably had 5 or 6 different chefs we were working on, and he was very nice to everyone who was around
Brian,
him.
let me interrupt you for a moment. Deborah Farrick's getting some new video that's just coming in. Deb, show our viewers what we're seeing here.
Really what we're seeing here, Wolf, is Michael Jackson being taken from his home in Holmby Hills in California. That was moments, really, after paramedics tried to perform CPR and get him breathing again. The firefighters who responded, the chief said that, in fact, they administered extreme care to Michael Jackson. Again, this is him being removed from his house about 12:30 Los Angeles time today. Wolf?
All right, Deborah Farrick is joining us. We're going to stay on top of this story. I'm Wolf Blitzer in the Situation Room. Up next, Lou Dobbs Tonight.
Thanks, Wolf. Good evening, everybody. Breaking news about Michael Jackson. Now, in the past few minutes, the Los Angeles Times and the Associated Press have reported that Jackson has died. CNN cannot confirm those reports, but earlier the entertainer was taken to the hospital in Los Angeles in cardiac arrest. Sources familiar with his condition told CNN that he went into a coma. Kara Finstrom is outside Jackson's house in Los Angeles now. Kara, what can you tell us?
Well, this is the Bel Air home where he was staying. This is a multi-million-dollar neighborhood. He was renting this home. We understand paramedics came here, took him on about a 6-minute ride to the LA hospital, where, according to the LA Times, he has died. You can hear helicopters overhead, lots of media out here. The police have come out now and blocked off the street so that fans cannot continue to come up, but you can see that a number of people from the neighborhood have come up. Kitty, what we understand, though, is that his diehard fans, those that actually camp out, there's about 6 vans that we understand are camped out here every day, have moved to the hospital now to be closer to this pop superstar and to try and get the latest information.
Kara, what kind of people are you seeing here? Are they very young? What's the age demographic? I know he had universal appeal.
Yeah, we are seeing a little bit of everything out here today, and many people have actually brought out their BlackBerries. They're texting the latest information they can to family and friends. Some people are taking some pictures, and I want to bring in a couple of the neighbors here who have walked over, and you've been hearing these reports from the LA Times that he has passed away. You say you've walked, through these neighborhoods, and we've got 2 generations of fans here. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts upon hearing this news.
This is very devastating to hear this. He was an icon, and he invented the moonwalk. He created the moonwalk, and I just passed on his dancing and his music to my children, and my daughter Chloe, his dance to his songs, and it's just devastating, absolutely.
Chloe, I know you said you and your friends all loved Michael Jackson, and you actually did some dance routines to his music. Tell us about that.
At school, we were just we had a couple routines that we would do to Thriller and a couple of his songs. And we just had fun with his music, and he would always put a smile on our face. That's sad.
He was amazing. He was absolutely amazing. Kitty, the sentiment that we seem to be getting over and over from people out here is they heard helicopters in the air, they turned on the TV sets, they heard this news, and they just couldn't believe it. So they wandered out here to try and get some confirmation, and they're just kind of standing here in the streets, kind of in disbelief. This was a man known for his dramatics, known for theatrics, and they just can't quite believe that this is true.
Kara, for fans all around the world and throughout the country, give us a little bit of a scene set for where you are now, what his neighborhood is like, and are you seeing some of his neighbors actually come to this site?
Yeah, many of these people are his neighbors. Now, they told us, especially the 2 women we just spoke with, they were getting tours to go see him, tour tickets to go see him in London. They hadn't been able to meet him here in their own neighborhood, so that kind of gives you a feel for the exclusivity of this area. Lots of gates. These are multi-million-dollar homes. Lots of stars live around here. When we first arrived, there were still tour buses driving by his home. People, seeing all the commotion going on, kind of even leaning out of these tour buses, asking what's going on. Since that time, police have sealed off the area, but we did speak with one of those tour bus drivers earlier. She saw the commotion. She saw the fire trucks come out. She saw the paramedics arrive. She didn't actually see Michael Jackson being escorted out, but a lot of emotion here today from a lot of fans who also happen to be his neighbors.
All right, thanks very much, Kara Finstrom, on the scene in Los Angeles. Now, as we reported, the cause of Michael Jackson's reported death was cardiac arrest. Senior medical correspondent Elizabeth Cohen joins us now from Atlanta. Now, Elizabeth, what can you tell us about cardiac arrest and its impact?
Right, cardiac arrest, sometimes people confuse that with a heart attack. They are two very different things. In a heart attack, the heart, it loses some oxygen. Some of the muscle loses oxygen. Sudden cardiac arrest, heart function stops. The heart stops working. And that's why with sudden cardiac arrest, someone needs help, ideally within 3 to 5 minutes. There's some really sobering statistics I'm going to tell you right now, Kitty, about cardiac arrest. Few attempts at resuscitation succeed after 10 minutes. It's estimated that more than 95% of cardiac arrest victims die before reaching the hospital. Now, Kitty, I was on the phone with a cardiologist, and I said, gosh, he was only 50. What do you think? Is that young? And they said, no, 50 is not young for cardiac arrest for a man, and particularly not for an African-American man. African-American men have a higher rate of cardiac arrest than white men. Kitty?
Elizabeth, his general health, of late he had the appearance of fragility. Tell us what you think about and what you're hearing from doctors about underlying health conditions and the survivability of cardiac arrest with those conditions.
Right. I wish I knew more about Michael Jackson's chronic conditions. Unfortunately, there's all these rumors, and it's hard to know what's true. But there is no question that if someone has chronic conditions, they are much less likely to survive cardiac arrest, which is extremely difficult to survive anyhow, even in someone who doesn't have chronic conditions. So if someone has chronic heart disease to begin with, or diabetes, or really any other serious chronic disease, it makes it harder to survive. Now, what we're hearing here at CNN, what we've confirmed, is that he is in a coma. That is what happens when the brain doesn't get enough blood. When the brain doesn't get oxygen, those neurons die, and people go into comas. I asked a cardiologist at Mass General, a doctor who teaches at Harvard, I said, what percentage of the time, when you've had patients with cardiac